Hi everyone, welcome to Principles of Biology, BIO111W. My name's Kelsey Pressler, and I'll be your instructor this semester. For this video, I want to introduce myself. I want to talk about how you'll get your chance to tell me about you. We'll discuss the expectations for this course, including the syllabus and the schedule, the structure of the course, and how to get help when you need it. So a little bit about me to begin with. My husband, Mike, and I have 5 children. Our oldest is in middle school, and the first 4 are all 2 years apart. And then in January of 2024, we welcomed number 5, Watney. We have a small farm up where we live in Ogama County, and I breed dairy goats. So this is me with some of the kids from this year. We also raise and breed cattle. We have Dexter cattle, and Dexters are some of the smallest, well, they're the smallest standard breed of cattle. So we raise them, and then these 2 here are actually chondro carriers. They're short-legged Dexters, so they're extra cute. And we also have a single Jersey that we keep for milk, and her calf from this year's on here too. Some of my scientific background, I have my Bachelor's of Science from Central Michigan University. While I was a student at Central, I got to work on population genetic studies with smallmouth bass in the Beaver Island Archipelago, elk in Yellowstone National Park, and salamanders in Michigan. I also had a summer internship where I got to study nest box usage in different species of songbirds here in Michigan, including eastern bluebirds. And I tell you this in case you happen to find yourselves, you decide you want to be a science major, that scientific research is an opportunity that's available to undergraduate students. After finishing up at Central, I went to the University of Michigan for my graduate work. While I was there, I worked on a study of population structure in amphibians in the Pacific Northwest. So this is a Pacific giant salamander, a tailed frog, and a couple of other special salamanders that we don't have in Michigan. My advisor at U of M was the curator for the insect division, and so I helped her out with a study of paternity in these special crickets from the Caribbean. After graduation, I managed a retinal electrophysiology lab at the University of Michigan. So I've had a little bit of medical research, and from there I went up to Midlands, where I worked as a research scientist in their food and nutrition lab as a microbiologist. So I have a lot of different science background. I'm excited to get to learn about you, the things that you're interested in, your goals, why you're choosing to take this class. So you and I will each have a chance to speak together one-on-one in a Zoom meeting during the first week of class. So I sent you out a Calendly scheduling link in an email, which you should have gotten the week before class started. So please, if you haven't already done it yet, go in there, click the link, schedule a time to chat with me. It's going to be super informal, but just a chance for us to get to know each other. And we'll be doing 3 more of these one-on-one Zooms throughout the spring semester. All right, so in this class, Bio 111, our goals are to introduce the fundamental concepts underlying biology and the relevance of these concepts to students as a member of our global society. This will include some basic chemistry of the cell structures and metabolism, molecular biology and genetics, and the origin and evolution of living things and ecological principles. This is applicable as science lecture and laboratory credit for non-major students. It's not appropriate for biology majors. Credit may be earned in Bio 111W or Bio 111 honors, but not both. And this is a picture of our textbook here that we'll be using. The textbook, by the way, if it wasn't clear from the notes I've already sent you, you do not have to purchase the physical textbook. It's an option, and if that's a way that you learn best, I know that's how my brain works best. The bookstore on campus has a hard copy of the textbook available. Make sure that you get one that also comes with a McGraw-Hill Connect code. We're going to be using a lot of the McGraw-Hill Connect content in this course. It's really good content. It's definitely worth the money, but the McGraw-Hill Connect code is the thing that you must have. So the physical textbook you can hold in your hands is optional, but you must purchase the McGraw-Hill Connect code. That will give you access to all the online content all the online content from that resource that we'll be using in this class. There will be others we'll use as well, but it also gives you the ebook. So the hard copy of the textbook is optional, but you must purchase the McGraw-Hill Connect code. And you can do that directly through the publisher, McGraw-Hill, if you choose. McGraw-Hill will give you 2 weeks free trial. So if you want to try it out and see if you don't actually need the hard copy textbook, that would be a way to go too. All right, the expectations for this class. The number one expectation is respect. So respect me, respect each other, other students, the classroom, not so much for this one, and the planet, of course. So we will cover some topics in the course that people may have strongly opposing opinions about. That's okay. We can have respectful conversations about the science and the evidence regarding any issue as long as we remain kind and respectful. I expect students will complete their coursework on time. This is a shortened course in spring semester, so you're getting in a whole 15-week semester's worth of content in condensed 8-week period, which means that you must keep up or you will fall behind quickly. So please keep that in mind as you manage your time. Also, I expect students to check their Delta emails daily, Monday through Friday. This will be our primary mode of communication with one another, and if you're only checking your email once a week, you could miss some really important content. So please make sure that you're checking your email every day, Monday through Friday. All right, would you please take out your syllabus? You can find it in our D2L site on course resources under content. I'm going to pull it up here as well. All right, so we're just going to talk through some of the highlights here real quick. So my contact information is at the top here. My name, Kelsey Pressler. My student office hours are by Zoom on Mondays and Fridays from 1:30 to 3:30. You can schedule time there using the Calendly link, which is on our D2L homepage. If you are not available during those times, shoot me an email and we'll make an appointment to meet together at some other time that does work for both of us. Here's my email address. This is the best way to get in touch with me. Emails, I try to respond to within 1 business day. So if you have a question about an assignment that's due on Saturday, make sure you don't email me about it Friday at 3 o'clock because you may not hear back from me until after the assignment's due. So please keep that in mind that I will be checking my email regularly throughout the work week, just like I expect you to, but give me 24 hours to respond. All right. Okay, so your required course materials, we already touched on this. The textbook, online access to the McGraw-Hill Connect is required. You can purchase it from our bookstore on main campus with a hard copy of the textbook, or you can purchase just the McGraw-Hill Connect code directly from McGraw-Hill. I also expect you'll all have access to the internet, e-learning, your Delta email. You're going to check it daily, and your online assignments. Basically, anything that I post on D2L, I expect you to do, unless I label it as optional. One thing you do not need to purchase also is you do not need to purchase a course pack or a lab manual. Those are resources for BIO111W when it's taught on campus. but your labs will all be virtual or labs you can do at home with common household materials. So you do not need to purchase the course pack. This is a 4-hour course, an INET modality, which means that this course does not meet face-to-face. We do the entire course online, and it's asynchronous. Asynchronous means that we don't have times when everyone has to log in online together at the same time. There will be no full class Zoom meetings. We will do one-on-one Zoom meetings, however. So you'll be required to attend at least 4 one-on-one Zoom sessions with the instructor. We've already talked about what the course will cover. Outcomes and objectives. These are really important. This is what needs to be covered in each, over the course of the whole semester. So I use these outcomes and objectives at the beginning and end of each of my lecture slides to let you know which outcomes and objectives we'll be learning about with that chapter. These are also what I use as I write your exams. When I write your exams, I'll make sure that I have questions about how to formulate a clear and testable hypothesis. I may ask you to read a passage of text and gather information. I may ask you to identify the attributes of all living things. So these outcomes and objectives you'll continue to see reappearing in the lectures. They'll be on your study guides for the exams, and these are what I use to build your exams. All right. So your role as a student, in order to be successful in BIO111, the student shall do the following. So you're going to complete your coursework on time. You're going to check your email dutifully. Take notes. Participate in activities, discussion boards, or one-on-one meetings, and ask questions. You should be able to use, apply, and convey the information you've learned. So flashcards and just being able to recall things will not be enough to be successful in this course. It's helpful, but not enough on its own. You should also ask questions when you don't fully understand something, especially since this is an INET course and I don't get to see your face as we're talking about things in lab or as you're working. I don't know that you're not understanding something unless you tell me. So please shoot me an email. Let's talk about it, and we'll get things straightened out for you. And then I promise if there's something you're confused about, probably someone else in the class is also wondering the same thing. All right, attendance policies. Even though this is an asynchronous online course, we still have to take attendance. So Delta policy requires attendance be noted. In online courses, a missed online assignment counts as an absence. If you do not complete the online work for the first week, you'll be dropped from the course for non-attendance. And this is for a few reasons. One, it helps make sure that students don't get charged for classes that they don't actually intend to do. So it's there to help students. And also, especially given that this is a spring term course, if you miss a week, that's like missing 2 whole weeks of class. You'll be starting so far behind the start line. So this is a policy here for your benefit, not to punish, but to make sure that students have their best chance of success if they're going to pay for a course. All right, academic integrity. It's important that your learning process maintains academic integrity, and this means completing all assignments independently and taking exams in good trust. By maintaining academic integrity, you'll increase your knowledge and skills while upholding your personal and societal ethical standards. Additionally, it adds to the credibility of your degree or certificate and how other institutions and employers view your college coursework. If someone copies your work and you allow it, that's also considered cheating. All issues of academic dishonesty will be handled according to college guidelines. I have those outlined here. Please keep in mind also, I know that AIs like ChatGPT are becoming increasingly powerful and accessible to students, which is awesome. And we need to focus on finding appropriate ways to use those tools. So, for example, you can ask AI to quiz you on mitosis. Say, ChatGPT, I want you to ask me multiple choice questions about mitosis, and keep asking questions until I get them all right. That is an awesome way to use AI. You could even use ChatGPT to help brainstorm ideas for a paper. What's not okay is to have ChatGPT write your paper for you. You can't say, ChatGPT, write me a paper on climate change. That's not acceptable. And we also have tools that can detect the use of AI in your writing. So please make sure that you can use it as a tool to improve your writing, but you're not using it to cheat and do your work for you. All right, if you're having trouble in class, please talk to me. I can give you study ideas, techniques, strategies, ways to help you actually learn the content. You do not need to resort to cheating. You also all get free tutoring through Delta. The Teaching and Learning Center in the library on main campus has, they just hired a new biology tutor. So that's also an option for you if you want to talk to someone other than me. All right, code of contact. If you feel you have a disability and require accommodations, please make sure that you reach out to me or disability resources on campus. They'll help make sure that you get the accommodations you need to be successful and communicate that to your instructors. All right. Diversity is a really important part of the culture and mission at Delta College. As an employee of Delta College, it's my responsibility to uphold these ideals. Any behavior or language contrary to promoting an inclusive and welcoming culture will result in students being removed from the classroom. You can review our disruptive students policy here. If you would like to have your pronouns or chosen name changed in official documents for Delta, like your email, class roster, your username, there's a form for doing that. With the registrar's office. That's where you look for that. Okay. We'll be using D2L, or Desire to Learn, is our online course management system. You'll sign in to Delta's portal and go to e-learning, and from there you can access this syllabus, announcements. I'll post all the content you need to complete in the course there. Sometimes I'll also send you emails through there or post announcements, so make sure that you're checking those. Let's shift focus here to grades. So for this course, there will be 3 lecture exams. All those exams make up 50% of your final grade. You will also be writing a report based on an ecological concept that interests you. That paper will be worth another 10% of your total grade. The remaining 40% will come from labs, online activities, assignments, and actually, your assignments basically are quizzes. All right. You will have both virtual and hands-on labs. Your final grades are generally accessible to you within 1 week of the end of the semester. You'll be able to see them on WebAdvisor. You'll also be able to see your grades as we progress through the semester on D2L. There's a grade book that you can look at. And this is the grading scale that I'll be using. It's nothing unusual, just the standard. Your exams will also be given online, and we'll talk more about those when they come up. All right. I'll tell you about this just in case you need it. Even though you may not be on campus, since this is an INET course, there are resources available to all Delta students that I want to make sure you're aware of. So at Delta, we believe that the hardest thing about being a student at Delta College should be the work you do in the classroom. And the college has a number of resources to help break down barriers or help students connect to community resources if there are other challenges in your life that are getting in the way of your academic success. So you can find information on the resources section for students at Delta's website here. They have someone to help you find housing. If you're homeless, we can help you find housing. If you're hungry, there's a food bank on campus. If you have a job interview and you need a nice interview outfit to wear, we have a Delta's Closet where you can go in for free and take what you need. We also have, what else? Free counseling service. So Delta has counselors on campus that you can talk with, but there's also free virtual counseling you can do, kind of like a Zoom style through UWell. And starting this academic school year, we also have a mobile medical unit that comes to main campus every Monday. I assume it's going to continue through spring and summer, but they will see students for $10 or less. And you can go there for, like, if you think you have strep throat or, like whatever kind of your basic medical care. They're there to help you with that. If you have questions about anything that's not in this syllabus or you want to know more about things that were, please let me know and shoot me an email. Let's shift gears and go back here. So next, please take out your schedule. You can also find this in the course resources on D2L, but I wanted to walk you through how this works. So, our schedule is laid out by week. There are 8 weeks in the spring term. And the colors on this schedule indicate which exam they'll be covered. So the yellow is all the content in exam 1. The green is all the content I'll assess in exam 2. And the blue is all the content that'll be covered in exam 3. Now each column here, so you'll have labs to do each week. Some of your labs will be virtual, like this first one, the scientific method pill bug lab. That's a virtual lab that you'll do through the McGraw-Hill Connect content. Same with the metric system reviews, but there's also a hands-on lab. So for this hands-on lab, every time you see a hands-on lab, I recommend you click on that one and read through before, like, early in the week, just in case there are materials that you might need to gather. Don't save it for the last minute because you may need to have time to go get something. So for the ricotta cheese lab, you'll need to have milk, obviously, some kind of acid, either vinegar or lemon juice, and salt, and cheesecloth. That's probably something you don't have already at home, and it's worth going to get. So make sure that you're checking over your labs each week, and if you see a hands-on lab, make sure that you have all those materials early in the week so that you're not scrambling on Friday night or Saturday morning trying to find them all. The online section here, I don't list all the assignments, but this is just to kind of give you an overview of what content is coming up. So in the first week, you'll do the introductory activities through McGraw-Hill so that you know how to access those virtual labs and the SmartBook assignments and all of that resources that you have with your McGraw-Hill Connect code. We'll be going over the first 2 chapters and you're going to be participating in a discussion board about a misleading article. All of this content for week 1 is going to be due by the Saturday of that week at 11 p.m. So everything is always due by 11 p.m. on Saturday, unless I tell you otherwise. And some notable exceptions to that will be your discussion boards to review for each exam. So your first exam is coming up the 3rd week of class. So you'll have to take exam 1 before 11 p.m. on May 25. All right, so that's how your schedule is set up here. And the second half of the semester, we will begin talking about your ecology reports. And this will be kind of a literature review paper that you'll be writing about an ecological topic of your own choosing. So we'll talk more about that as it gets closer. The way that I have the course set up is that you can work through things at your own pace, but you must have all of this content done by 11 p.m. on that Saturday before you move on to the next one. All right. Now, yeah. All right. I'm getting distracted. Let's go back here. All right, so the course structure. There's asynchronous online content. Chapter content begins on Saturdays, and there are smart book readings for each chapter, chapter assignments. There's also links to the lectures, and I give you each a copy of the slides that I use with those lectures to print and take notes on, and there's some critical thinking questions on there, so make sure that you're doing that for each chapter. This content is always due by 11 p.m. on the following Saturday. Oops. Here we go. All right. There are no chapter review questions. These are the chapter assignments. So you can think of those chapter assignments as being like a quiz. All right. We will cover multiple chapters each week. The class is asynchronous, so you can work at your own pace, but you have to stay within the timeline. All of your online content, or basically everything, is due each week at 11 p.m. on Saturday. Your lab activities will provide an opportunity to explore, apply, and think critically about the course content. They will either come from the McGraw-Hill Connect virtual labs, other online sources I'll provide to you, or they may be hands-on labs. And those hands-on labs you can do wherever is most convenient for you. We will also have one-on-one Zoom meetings, and there will be 4 required ones. We'll have our first one-on-one this week in the first week of the course. And then we also need to meet together at least once during each of the 3 units. So before you take each exam, you need to meet with me one-on-one. You're welcome to schedule more than these 4 one-on-ones. This is just the minimum that's required. You're welcome to use that Calendly link, which will be on our D2L course homepage, to schedule time with me as frequently as you'd like. Oops. Okay. And that wraps it up. So thank you for your time and watching this video. It'll be the first of many. And I will see you soon in our first one-on-one Zoom meeting this first week of the semester.